This is my second video on Tori Kelly's song Paper Hearts. I was contacted by a couple of subscribers who really wanted to learn the rest of the song, and I had promised on the first video that I would finish the song up. So today we're going to look at the bridge, and we're going to look at the transition into the outro of the song. But first, let's just do a very quick review. Now, one thing I want to point out is before we get into this song, we are capoed on fret 3, but I am going to speak to you as though we're not capo. The chords I mention will be as though there's no capo. Talking of an A minor, it's really sounding a C minor. But just remember that I will not call it C minor, because in my opinion, that's more confusing. I think it's best to call it what it is. An A minor chord that looks like an A minor, doesn't sound like one, but it certainly looks like one. So it's better to call them by what you're seeing from the capo up, not the sound that you're hearing. However, you do need to be aware of what chords are being sounded. Because if a singer ever wants a different key and you don't know how to deal with that, then you're going to be in a little bit of an embarrassing situation. For full details on how to play the intro and the verse sections, then just go to my first video in this series. And remember, we're talking about the acoustic version here, not her electric version, or her popped up version, I like to call it. This is the acoustic version. We are dealing with a very clever songwriter here in Tori Kelly, and a very good guitar player. Tori, in the pre-chorus, sets the tone for the song, really, even beyond the intro. The intro being the F to C major 7. F major 7 to C major 7. She has kind of jazzed up these chords. Then we get to the pre-chorus, which is really my favorite part of the song. We go from F major 7, E major, to A minor 7, to C9. I went over this in exhaustive detail in the first lesson, but that's just a reminder of how this sets up the bridge. Once Tori gets to the bridge, she goes to D minor. Then to A minor 7, then to a G, which is kind of an odd choice of chords until you see what she does with it the second time around. Here is a clip from that part of the song. It'll be a very short clip for copyright reasons.
Hoping that you won't forget, I lived through pictures as if I was right there by your side.
So the first three chords, D minor, then A minor 7, she goes to G, so that was the second time, and if you were listening carefully, you would hear Tori elaborating on the D minor. These are just things you do as you learn how to play the guitar. When you get deeper into chords and chord playing, you realize that just staying on a chord and being stationary really doesn't give enough body to the song, to the accompaniment part. You always have to think like a piano player. A piano player would never just strike a chord and let it sit, at least not for long. You have to take a more pianistic approach and take that D minor chord basically, I'm just lifting my index finger and then hammering it down, striking either string 1 by itself or string 1 and string 2. Sometimes it sounds better to strike 2 strings. She goes to A minor 7 and then to G. Second time. She does not play the first string. Let me back up for a second. Lately I've been running into a lot of instances where students play chords and they like to always play the top note, meaning this first string, the skinny string being the top string on your guitar, which is not a good idea always. The top note a lot of times will get in the way and will conflict with the melody. You do not want that. So a lot of times I'll avoid it. When Tori goes to G, she's playing what I like to call super G, the more modern G, to the right G. And her third finger is on the second string, 3rd fret. That note is the top note of her chord. She doesn't go, she does not touch the top first string. The second time, and then Tori is going to go to a D with an F sharp and a bass. Not a surprising move from G. However, in this context it is. Because if you remember, we've really been playing to the left the whole song. Remember, my system is that you have chords to the left and chords to the right. Typically, the chords to the left, you're playing in A minor, C, or F. There are other possibilities, but those are the three main keys. When you play to the right, you're usually playing in G or D, or E minor. Now, there are other possibilities there, too. What Tori does is, after this G chord, the second time through the bridge, she does what I call the splitter chord. It's a D with an F sharp and a bass. I like to call it the splitter. There are times when you're going from E minor, and you're splitting your fingers open, and it turns into D with an F sharp and a bass. Now, after this is the really cool part. She goes to an F major. And we're back to really the beginning of the intro or verse. We're going into verse 3. Mostly, D with an F sharp and a bass resolves up to G or down to E minor. But that's not what Tori does. Tori goes from D, F sharp, and then goes down chromatically one note to an F major chord. To get back into the intro or verse progression. Just a brilliant move on her part and a great piece of songwriting. So here's that clip.
You'll be good without me, and if I could just give it some time, I'll be alright.
So when she says, I'll be alright, she is back to F. So this D with F sharp and a bass serves as a major transition chord, very major transition chord, transitioning you back to the verse. In music, there are always key points in songs that are changing either keys or changing sections. If you pay attention to such things in songs and when you write, your music will be much more alive. We haven't even come near this chord throughout the entire song. You have to remember that. Not one time did she even allude to a D major chord. Then all of a sudden in the bridge, true to form, the bridge typically is the one part of the song that's different than the rest. There's our F major sound. That's like a release of tension. All the tension is built up in the bridge. There's a release once you get back to F because you're back in the home key of F major. So she plays through that progression, that break progression, that chorus. If you want to call it chorus, call it. I kind of call it both, functioning as a chorus and pre-chorus. F major 7, but remember it's a smaller version of the F major 7. It's not the one she uses at the beginning. There are two different F major 7s. The intro and verses she uses a traditional jazz grip. And then as we get to the chorus slash pre-chorus, she goes to this open, more of what I like to call the Stairway to Heaven F major 7 chord with the open first string. So Tori plays through that progression, ad-libbing a little bit on the vocals, but pretty much doing the chorus slash pre-chorus vocal part. To the end, and the last two chords she will play, I hope you won't forget about it, is what the vocal line is. And she ends on E major. Think about it. The song is in F. Tori goes all around the key of F. Uses practically every chord you can use in that key, excepting maybe B flat. And then ends up on E major, of all chords. Which is really the 5 chord that would lead into A minor, which is the 3 chord in F major. Now, if it sounds confusing, then we need to talk theory. Once again, we review. After the last chorus, we go to the bridge, which is D minor, A minor 7, G. And then we go through it again. D minor, A minor 7, G. And then we go to the transition chord, D, with F sharp in the bass. Then we end up on F major 7, to the beginning of the song. Those are the last 2 sections of this really great song. Just remember, refer to video 1 for the intro. The introduction, very important in terms of the technique that goes along with this song. If you want more tutorials on Tori's music or other artists' music that do acoustic playing, let me know and I will surely get to them.